I shall now review Applied Elite Theory by Neema Parvini. Previously, I have reviewed books by Dr. Edward Dutton, Semi-Agog, and No White Guilt. I reviewed them based on a number of metrics which I apply here. Books are for reading, so does this one invite me to read. The book measures 5.5 by 8.5 by 16/20 of an inch thick. It is 275 pages long. It is easily small and light enough to hold in one hand, and to read with two, anywhere, anytime. The title, Applied Elite Theory, is concise and informative up to a point. Provided you know what elite theory is, the title is plain, but to the layman, it might not be so clear. Is elite theory like game theory? Is this a textbook? At the same time, I suppose there was no alternative but to name it so. Perhaps a subtitle would have helped. If the title could belong to a textbook, so could the front cover. The color is grey, the author's name is unmissable across the top, the title unmissable down the side, the image unmissable and mysterious. What is it? The glass facade of a university building's foyer, with a red sky outside? Is this a civil engineering textbook? What it lacks in clarity, the cover makes up for in crispness and in clean lines. There is nothing else quite like it, and curiosity alone would entice the reader. The spine is no frills, just author and title on grey. The publisher's stamp is there too, an island of black and white. Perhaps while other books try to leap to your attention with loud spines, this subdued one has its own charm. The blurb is 4 paragraphs and a bit wordy. Perhaps only the first and second paragraphs, or the first and last, were all that were needed. At the same time, the blurb leaves the would-be reader in no doubt as to the contents within. The language is plain English, economical and direct. This is partly because the content is a compilation of shorter form writings, articles and speeches, where there is no room for waffle. They were not written with 275 pages in mind, so they do not indulge in waffle. Occasionally, if the text is from a speech where the author gestured to his heart or head to say that something was, quote, in here, then it is not clear what was meant. Apart from that, it is perfectly understandable. Each chapter has its references, citations, footnotes at the end, as they would have done when written as individual articles. This is convenient, since one does not have to look far for the citations, compared to, for example, a David Irving book with over 100 pages of sources at the end of a 900-page book. There are some figures present in this book. Some of the book came from speeches, and the speeches were presentations. In such cases, the text is inseparable from the images it referenced. Thus the book does not omit the images. The book is a compilation of articles and speeches. This makes lots of chapters short and self-contained, so it is a very bite-sized book. You can sample chapters here and there without needing to know what came before to an extent. It makes for a convenient read. It can lead to quite jarring references though. Articles that originally appeared days, weeks, or longer apart might appear one after the other, so you no sooner finish one than the next reminds you of what you just read. I am not used to it from a book, even though I know this was not originally written as a book. The author strove to edit the articles as little as possible for the book, and so it is the case here. More interesting is the tone of the book, which is refreshingly forthright. No hedging, not really trying to be balanced. It is taken as read that certain premises are proven at length in the author's other books, so there is no need to prove them here. Having proven them, the author can confidently assert he is right, and look down his nose at people who disagree, since they are plain wrong. It is fun to read in a way. The reader can be in on it, and join in the subtle sneering at those who are not, those who do not subscribe to elite theory. The book itself is in 3 parts, about 140 pages of general theory. This is a primer for elite theory as it is now. We must understand what it is and what it is not in order to understand how it is applied later in the book. Who are the factions of the elite? How do they apply their power? What are the rules of power? How does change happen? How does it work? How does it not work? We then get 80 pages of application in America and about 40 in Great Britain. The author tends to concern himself with, given how power works, what is happening despite appearances, what is not happening despite appearances, what ought to happen, assuming competent elite, what should have happened but did not, thanks to incompetent elite. There are also asides regarding the dissident right in general and their prospects, given their level of understanding of elite theory. A recurring theme throughout is that of containment. I enjoyed the book very much, and it has been helpful. Its key points are useful to keep in the back of your mind. It is a digestible book and well worth a read.